Let me talk briefly about power tools. The portfolio of tools that we have under our belt for managing various type of data-centric use cases. We have, at the bottom, we have vPlex for continuous application availability and data mobility, connected SAN switches, those are fiber channel switches, AppSync, integrated data management, PowerPaths, data path management tool, SRM, on-prem monitoring and reporting tool, Cloud IQ, which lives in the cloud. That's the reason why it's called Cloud IQ. Cloud-based monitoring and analytics tool, and Clarity now. But the tools that we're going to talk about are right there in the lower right corner. VRO, Ansible, and CSI drivers. CSI stands for Container Storage Interface.
I have to ask.
Yep.
Connectrix? Like, I haven't heard that in forever.
We have it. So it's a fiber channel switches for Dell EMC storage.
I thought you guys didn't call it that anyway. Okay, that's...
I think we still call it Connectrix.
We do call it Connectrix.
Okay.
You still sell vPlex?
Wow.
Yes.
Are there PowerShell modules for any of this?
Pardon me?
PowerShell.
Give me about 5 minutes and you have to buy me a drink first.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So bottom line, this team is focusing on making storage consumption frictionless. We integrating storage with most popular platforms such as VRO, Ansible, Kubernetes to make storage consumption as simple as possible, to extend storage usage for the new use cases that are not there earlier. And in the next few slides or few sections of this presentation, we're going to introduce you to REST APIs, Python, Ansible, VRO, as well as Kubernetes.
Okay, so I think we probably covered a lot of this while make up the time in the questions. So, like, there's, as I was saying at the start of the presentation, we've got some customers that, large customers that have development teams. They've got homegrown applications that they're using for development. They just want to integrate. So they just want an API. They want to integrate, and then they can work away. They're very self-sufficient once they get going. We've got other customers then that just want to take out of the box tools like Ansible, like VRO, and we're catering for both of them. So, but underneath the covers of all of this, we've got REST. Like, REST is really what makes automation possible for us. And it lets us basically connect into any device or any application that can make a call. If it can make a call, it can control. It can, as long as you authenticate, disclaimer, and it can manage our storage arrays. That makes things a lot simpler for customers. They don't need any fancy tools in the environment. They don't need infrastructure to manage infrastructure. And it does really allow you to do a whole lot. One of the things that we do a hack attack every year within engineering where it's kind of like Dragon's Den for people from Europe, or Shark Tank, where we basically prototype some stuff. One of the things that we did for that, just for giggles, we got the PowerMAX REST API, hooked it up to the Amazon Alexa, and had it provisioning storage by voice. Not really something you'd want to do in production, but it just shows that you can do these things. So the question, whenever a customer comes to us and say, "Can you integrate with our application?" It's not really, "Can we?" It's, "Can you make a REST call?" And that's a very short conversation. And so they're not tied to our support matrix. They use whatever tools they want, whatever platform they want. So they can use Windows devices, Android, whatever programming language they want, PowerShell, Python. It's really takes those decisions away from us, and the customer can use what they have in-house and make the most of the skills they have available without having to retool. For those people who do want to code, we're trying our best to get stuff out there for everybody. So we've got Python SDKs. We're putting them all up on DellEMC.com under the storage source website, so one place where you'll get all this stuff. I was going to make a very bad AC/DC joke here, where if you know the difference between your DC, but I can't get it straight. Never mind, get it out. So I'll not even attempt it. This is the Python libraries that we have. A lot of these are started off as within engineering. We built them for ourselves, and then we open sourced them and put them out to our customers. I actually work on this one for the PowerMAX Python SDK. You can see on GitHub there, raw storage doing some commits there. Something I didn't think I would ever do would be writing code and putting it up on the web. We do have we're talking about our enterprise storage array. We're running the most critical applications in the world on that. So we have to be very strict about what we put up there. The code quality has to be of a high standard, and code, having good code is one thing, but it has to be well documented. So what we're doing is we're auto-generating all of the documents for it, and this standard has been adopted by the teams that are working on the other platforms and the other SDKs. So we put everything up on readthedocs.io. You can just search for PyWAV there, and you'll get a list of all of the API modules that we support. And we try to organize them where we, like the APIs, we organize them by resources, so all of the provisioning functions are together. Not only does that give us, it makes it easier for us to use and for customers, but whenever we go to add new functionality to it, we're in a more modular design, so we can add functions without breaking other things. And we actually run our own CI/CD pipeline through Jenkins nightly, where we're actually not only doing unit tests, we're actually doing CI tests against real arrays. And we make sure that those runs are running consistently. So we've over 300 tests running every night, creating and deleting storage, setting up replication, tearing it down. And every morning I come in, I get a message in my Slack channel telling me that this has gone okay, and if something hasn't happened, I asked one of the lads on my team, what were you doing? Because it's nothing, you can tell whether something was changed in the build. We're getting a lot of use out of this internally in our eLab. The eLab teams are just snapping it up, and they're using it for their own automation processes, spinning up the test systems that we're using to qualify hardware against, which is really good. It was an unseen benefit whenever we wrote this. The latest release that just went up, 9.1, we spent a lot of time taking on some technical debt and some early decisions that we made that we didn't want to carry through. So there's a lot more standardization in there. And we've marked, we're not going to rip anything out from a customer. We've marked the functions for depreciation. So we are following, we're following legal as well, which is something I didn't expect to be doing. And this is an example of how the APIs, like whenever we brought out the VMAX All Flash, I think one of the biggest things that we wanted to do was to bring simplicity into the product, because people were saying that it's complicated to deploy your storage. You have to do 101 different things. This is 3 lines of code that'll basically set up active replication for an application. Similar to what we do in the wizards in the UI, we've condensed everything into one API call. We don't care. We know if you're protecting an application on one side, you're going to need devices on the other side. It'll look at this. It'll look at the storage, decide how much it needs to replicate to. It'll set that up. It'll create the group on the other side, and it'll start the synchronization for you. So it's really a one-step process. Now, you'd follow on from this by provisioning it out to a host, but it's just to show the simplicity. And there's a lot of places that we do that, and we don't want to make things complicated. There's still a few places where we could get better, where we're having to look up things, but we're getting there. Gina, Becca, PowerShell. We do have PowerShell modules, not for all of the arrays yet. So I think Unity and Extreme.io are up there on the PowerShell gallery, so customers can go there and get that. Just like the Python modules, they're well documented, and we're following standards there as well to make sure that we're putting out quality code